There were boxes of bananas in the back of the van. The bananas had flyers wrapped around them, held on with rubber bands. The people who jumped out of the van started handing the bananas out on the street. I took one, even though I wasn't hungry. The guy who handed it to me tried to get me to stop and talk, but there was no time. Already late to meet Sharon, I barely slowed down to accept his offering or to say thanks. I smiled and kept singing to myself. When I met up with Sharon, 15 minutes late, I gave her the banana and read the flyer. It read, "Walk for World Peace. Please join us for a 3-day walk to hear Reverend Sun Myung Moon speak in Des Moines, Iowa. Food and housing provided. Bring a change of clothes, a sleeping bag, good shoes, and good cheer." There was a phone number and an address at the bottom. I stuck the paper in my pocket. Sharon was upset when I told her I wanted to get a job writing for a newspaper instead of working at the department store where she worked. "I already talked to my manager. He is expecting to meet you tomorrow," she said in a disapproving tone. As she looked at me, her eyes filled with judgment. The needle following the groove on the record, playing in my head, was rudely ripped from the vinyl, and Ooh Ooh Child stopped. Old feelings of not fitting in made me want to run away. I glanced to the side and saw our reflection in the window of the building. She was wearing a skirt and blouse and had platform shoes on. Her blouse was cobalt blue with a white collar and cuffs. Her skirt was slightly above the knee and had a plaid pattern, blue and white, perfectly matching her blouse. Her hair was held back with a clip and every strand was in place. Her makeup looked like she had taken application tips from a magazine. There were 2 shades of blue eyeshadow in subtle layers, and she wore light pink lipstick, perfectly applied. Everything was in fashion. I was wearing a peasant shirt made of cheesecloth under my suede jacket and bell-bottom jeans, which had several patches sewn on them. I had Frye boots on, which were my favorite. They were light brown with a small heel and rounded toe. My strawberry blonde hair was long almost to my waist and parted in the middle. It was thick and wavy and fell in my face a lot. I was wearing hoop earrings and also had some blue eyeshadow on, but didn't wear a lot of makeup and never took much time applying it. I had taken a puff of pot not long before, so my eyes were a bit bloodshot. I just couldn't imagine working inside that building trying to look anything like Sharon. "If the paper doesn't work out, I still want to work with you," I lied. "I just have to try this." After a strained silence, I added, "At least you got a free banana." She chuckled, and I felt relieved. Even though Sharon rarely bent any rules, I knew part of her liked me because she could live vicariously through me. I added a little bit of wild to her life. I also knew that she somehow felt responsible to straighten me out. She peeled the banana and started eating it. "I'm on a new diet. This can be my lunch," she said. We sat on the bench for a while, and then she had to go. "I'll see you at home later," I said as she was leaving. "Good luck with the newspaper," she said, walking away. I knew by the way her eyes darted around, not meeting mine, that she was just being polite. As much as I hated the thought of working in a department store, I was almost out of money and knew there wasn't much time before my parents would run out of patience and force me to go back to school. Or worse and unthinkable, make me move back to York. I headed for the newspaper office, determined to convince them to hire me. The needle fell back into the groove of the vinyl. Ooh Ooh Child played again. Someday I would walk in the rays of a beautiful sun and the world would be brighter. When I got there, everyone was rushing around, and I had to wait around for the editor. When he finally arrived, he reluctantly agreed to talk to me. I went back to his office, which was small and messy. There were books and papers in piles on his desk and the floor. Part of a sandwich that looked several days old and a coffee cup that looked like it hadn't been washed, ever. There were rings around the inside of the cup like a slice out of a tree trunk displaying its age. "We don't hire our writers as employees," he explained when I told him why I was there. "We pay by the article." He was a tall, skinny guy with long brown hair and a beard. He must have sensed my desperation and seemed to want to give me a chance. "Do you have any ideas for a story?" he asked. Nervously, I put my hand in the pocket of my jeans and felt the paper from the banana. An idea came to me.